what we've just heard and what we have seen amongst the youth of Pakistan actually sets the tone for a very bright future this country has. You're doing a great job. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me just start by highlighting to you that the essence of my talk actually was conceived when I came into this hall and I saw 3 balloons here. So I'm going to start with you on showing you the reason why those 3 balloons struck a chord with me. This is what I believe are the essential 3 primary colors. With some artists that I can see in the audience, I can tell you that you all know, and we had a demonstration, that beautiful demonstration also, of the fact that how many colors can be brought out of these 3 primary colors. Now, in my understanding, the youth of not only Pakistan, but of this entire world, in fact all human beings, can live a black and white existence without these 3 colors. But if you give them these 3 colors, these 3 primary colors, and a canvas to paint their life upon, the magic that they can do is unbelievable. And that is the essence of my talk. Each time that you are interacting with somebody else, and he is in his youth years or she is in her youth years, just ask yourself this question. And I would request you to ask this question now. With every conversation, with your every social interaction, ask this question. I'm about to interact with youth. Am I providing him or her with a degree of freedom? Am I giving him or her a degree of recognition? And am I, with my statement, validating him or invalidating him? I think that's the essence. The beauty of this relationship that you will then set with that person in adolescent years or a youthful individual is going to be amazing. Just because they would suddenly feel and behave like what you see in the corner right there. Birds who are ready to fly but would become humans, which are a far superior existence than birds, if they have a string attached to them. And that string is that relationship that you will form when you give a bird a degree of freedom, recognition, and validation. Here is our opportunity to understand today the importance and significance of how strings can be attached without taking away these 3 primary colors from our youth. And that is what I'm going to talk to you about. Keeping the string without strangulating. What are the challenges, in my understanding as a psychiatrist, that the youth of this country, and maybe if I'm not wrong, probably around the world, has these challenges? Have a look at them. The real issue today is of our young generation fighting to stay with their virtual world all the time. But have you ever asked why? Just think, why would you like to be in a virtual world if there was something real that provided you with those 3 colors? It's when those 3 colors are missing in your life that you would like to not stay black and white anymore, and you'd like to put on and find those colors even if they are virtual, so that you can start to paint your life. Would you prefer a black pen to write with always? But if you were to make a painting of your life, what would you prefer? Even if it is virtual. Are we, what we hear on the television, what you see around yourself, anything else other than what we just heard one of the speakers earlier also saying, killing fields of hope? Why have you come back to Pakistan? Pakistan mein kya rakha hai? These are the killing fields of hope. of our youth that we are making them walk in. I don't know how many of you have actually seen this movie or heard Kandura's unbearable lightness of being. Any hands? Anybody who's seen this movie or read this book, Unbearable Lightness of Being? No. It just is a statement about a Russian who migrates into France to discover freedom. Because he migrated from a world where he couldn't do anything by himself. This unbearable lightness of being, where everything that you do has to be defined by a power figure. That power figure in Russia at that time was the Communist Party. But just ask a question. When you are living in your homes, in your classrooms, and in your hospitals and wards, are you representing Gestapo? Are you representing KGB? Are you taking away or sapping gradually those three primary colors that are needed? That's important. Ask this question from yourself every day so that you can reduce the unbearable lightness of being of the youth. Can they be in charge of what they think, what they feel, what they want to wear, what they want to interact with, and where do they want to go in life? That would reduce their unbearable lightness of being. Altered state of boredom and excitement. If you had, 18-year-olds or 14-year-olds or 12-year-olds sitting in this hall for the number of hours that you have been, I can assure you they would have long left. Even if you had machine guns posted outside, they would have left. It's so easy to bore them. It's so easy to sustain their attention for too long. Then, of course, they all have, unfortunately, a sense of entitlement. You have to get me Big Mac at 2:30 in the morning because you brought me into this world, remember? I never wrote a letter to you. You have to get me this new phone because everybody in my class has it. And that is my entitlement. Bullying, you do bullying to me, I must pass it on. If I'm going to take nonsense, I'm going to give nonsense. Manipulation and exploitation is an art that our youth have learned from no one else but their own mothers many a times. Entitlement, bullying, manipulation, and exploitation is not enough. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to say I'm very anxious. I can't sleep at night. I'm depressed. I'm sad. And if you don't understand anxiety, depression, remember, I even have ADHD. Oh, well, you see, I couldn't score very well in my O levels and A levels, largely because of the fact I'm on autism spectrum. And who told you this? Hazrat Google Rahmatullah alayh. And talk to my generation and you would find that we never talked about gender identity. We were never bothered about sexuality. We believed in doing things rather than talking about them. On the other hand, the youth, busy talking about it, never doing anything. So, how do you deal with this kind of a situation, with those challenges? Those are some of the things that a youth starts to do. Get into a political divide, one party or the other. Get into a sectarian identity. I am this, that, or the other. Well, one sect says the other one is going to go to hell. The third one says the second one is going to hell. The first one says the third one is going to hell. So we are all going to end up you know where. Or I will become part of a gang. And then I'm going to achieve everything that I needed. Freedom. You remember the three colors? Recognition and validation. That's what gangs do. They bring all those three colors in your life. And now you can go around and paint the entire town red, sometimes literally. Go on a killing rampage. If that doesn't work for you, oh, I'm going to go to a party. And what would I get there? One of these. One of these, either I will use a painkiller which will reduce my emotional pain, or I'm going to get a drug which is never going to make me feel bored, or it is going to enhance my fantasy. I'll go to places where man has never gone before. And if I don't do very well in exams or in another interaction, I would get something that will enhance my performance. Forget the definition of the word performance here. Or an anti-anxiety. Give me an Alp, give me a Xanax, give me a Lexotanil, and the mom calls Lexotanil not Lexotanil anymore. She calls it, where's my Lexo? And of course, there are anti-anger and anti-sadness drugs too. So those are the choices that are made available if you're going to not deal with those challenges the way that I have some recommendations for. But let us ask, what are you and I doing about those challenges? Well, this is what we do to our youth. तुम ठीक हो जाओ वरना तुम किसी काम के हो भी देखो तुम्हारी बड़ी बहन ने क्या क्या कमाल किए थे और तुम इडियट सारा दिन जर्सी पड़े रहते हो. This is what we have to tell them. Sermonize, lecture on morality. हमेशा सच बोलते हैं बेटा, कभी झूठ नहीं बोलते. अल्लाह ऊपर से देख रहा है उस वक्त भी जब तुम अकेले कमरे में कुंडी लगा लेते हो. याद रखना उस वक्त अल्लाह मियाँ तुम्हें देख रहा है. ही इज बिजी आस्किंग, अब्बू आपको भी तो देख रहा था. And if you want to understand what spying is, again, you don't have to go any further and you don't have to employ an agency to deal with spying, trapping, confronting, judging and sentencing all by themselves. You just have to be a typical classical Pakistani mom. My mom did it beautifully. I never knew that you could actually look into my eye and look at my iris and my cornea and see what am I reading. She was that perfect. So this is something that we are doing. Choice is yours. Do you think this is going to paint a picture full of primary colors? Or is it going to make the life of the youth black and white? Choice is yours. But I can assure you, every day I meet parents who are doing exactly this to their offsprings. Well, my favorite saying and the title of my book, hurt people, hurt people. If you're going to hurt your youth, remember what the Australians called boomerang. Something that you throw at others to hunt, and it comes back to you. And if you're not conscious, it will cut you into two. You keep hurting your youth, they will hurt you. And when they will hurt you, remember they're more powerful. They're more robust. They're more muscular. And when they hurt, it will truly hurt. Take my word for it. So, would you like to break the vicious cycle? Recipe I've given you. Grant the three colors. Help them break away from this vicious circle. Ask yourself, the word that I'm about to speak, just resound it in your head. एक दफ़ा अपने दिमाग में सोच के ये लफ्ज़ निकालें. Is it hurtful? Answer is yes. No, don't say it. Because you have just saved yourself from the boomerang coming back. It's a simple exercise that you can do every day with your children. This is what I suggest. Please attach this string to keep united with your children and ask them, how can we do things together? That's my message, ladies and gentlemen, for today. It's a joint voyage. You don't know how to deal with them. They don't know how to deal with you. But if you join together, they would formulate 180 degrees of the 360 degrees this word is. Make your children, make your offsprings the other 180. You know the 180 degrees, they know the other 180 degrees. Change your judgments into views. Do befriended listening. Befriended listening is when a child asks you, or your son asks you and says, अम्मी कल रात को मैं 8 बजे पार्टी पे गया था. आप कहते हैं कम्बख्त चरस पीने गया होगा तू. डांस किया होंगे ना तूने गंदी गंदी ट्यूनों पर वहाँ. And instead if you say, hey अच्छा बेटा तो फिर वहाँ क्या हुआ? This is befriended listening. हैं अच्छा वहाँ और भी लोग आए हुए थे. कौन कौन आया हुआ था? वहाँ पर अली जफर भी आया हुआ था. अच्छा कैसा लगता है अली जफर? This is befriended listening. This is what they're looking for from you. Can you do it? If you can do it, you've just killed, you have chopped off, this time, the boomerang. Validation, mutual discovery of the uniqueness of your son and daughter. And very, very important that please destigmatize talking about mental health. Can you become equals, ladies and gentlemen? Can we be equals with our youth and not make a joker out of this joker while you are the king and the queen? And you remember when you make a youth your joker, he's going to become the joker that you saw in the Joker movie. Why? He was invalidated. So don't let your youth become jokers. Sometimes you actually call them jokers, literally. Set parameters rather than give instructions. देखो बेटा ये मेरा घर है, इसमें ये मुमकिन है, करो. कैसे करो ये मैं तुम्हें नहीं बताऊंगा. Mutual learning of life skills and earning skills. Make them work, make them earn. And last of all, share their burden, share their pain. Teach them love, teach them how to work, and teach them how to love their work and make an adventure out of their life. That is how you will change a tsunami into this. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the youth that Pakistan has, and probably the largest proportion in the world. Let's paint our youth with those three colors, our rainbow. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.